this is John Kohler with DiscountJuicers.com. Today we're going to have a juice off for you. We got the Omega Vert 350 HD on this side, and we have the Omega Big Mouth or BMJ 330 on this side. Both juicers are juicers, and they extract the nutrition out of the fresh fruits and fresh vegetables for you so that you can get more fresh fruits and vegetables in your diet, because most people don't get enough fruits and vegetables in their diet. Have you had 5 to 9 servings of fresh fruits and vegetables today, or will you before the end of the day? Well, with the juicer, you can easily do just that. You know, one serving is basically like 1 cup, and all this juice is going to make several cups, and that's going to put you ahead of the game so that you can be healthier and you can get all the benefits of being healthier, like losing weight and, you know, having a stronger immune system and other things like that. So that being said, we're going to juice a variety of mostly vegetables. I like to call this a V6. They have the V8 juice. We're going to make a V6 juice. So the base of it is basically tomatoes. We got 5 tomatoes to juice in each juicer, along with some celery, cucumber, carrot, romaine lettuce, and an apple to make it a little bit sweet. And there you're going to get to see how each of these juicers handle all that produce. You know, every juicer has its pros and cons. Some are better than others, and some are better than others in certain areas. So for example, when we juice, you're going to see in this juicer, it's going to be really fast to actually make the juice. I mean, it'll be done in no time. We'll have to basically do 0 cutting. We just put the produce in there. It's going to come out. It's juiced. Boom. We're finished. We're done. On this juicer, it's going to take a little bit longer to juice. But you know what? We may have a little bit higher yield, and we may also, or we will also actually have a higher nutrient quantity or quality of the juice. Because this juicer runs at 10,000 RPMs. That's how fast it spins around. Runs at a very high speed. Tends to actually cause more oxygen to be introduced into the juice, which causes oxidation. It's much like when you take an apple and you cut an apple in half, it'll start to turn brown. That's the oxidation, or the nutrients basically being oxidized, and that's not so good. That being said, this juicer will oxidize the juice less, so it'll make a higher quality juice. But that being said, just because this juice oxidizes a little bit more, it doesn't mean it makes a bad juice. This juicer, any juice made with your own juicer in your own home is always better than buying, you know, canned or bottled juices that have been pasteurized and, you know, gone through a lot more processes than, you know, just a little bit of extra oxidation. So let's get started juicing. First, we're going to juice the tomatoes so you guys can specifically see the difference in juicing tomatoes in both these machines, how much yield it's going to get, and, you know, overall how long it just takes. Let's start with the Omega Big Mouth juicer. We're going to turn this machine on, and basically I will just take whole tomatoes, drop them in the machine, and the juice just comes out. Just that easy. Alright, so it's that easy to juice 5 tomatoes in the Omega Big Mouth. Now let's go over to the Omega Vert 350 HD. Now, you know, unfortunately I can't take the whole tomato and drop it in. It's not going to fit. The feed chute is a lot smaller on this machine. So we're just basically going to have to take a knife and cut the tomato in half. So let's go ahead and do that and dump it in the machine. Have to use the pusher here. Cut the tomato into quarters so that way to easily go into the machine. And you know, you don't want to overload the Vert juicer. If there's one thing I would like to say is that, you know, you should just feed produce into the Vert juicer at a slow and moderate pace. You don't really need to even use the pusher. It's pretty much self-feeding, and that's one of the features I like about the Omega Vert juicer. As you can see, it's going a lot slower. We're not quite done yet. We would have probably been done in the Omega Big Mouth. But you know, there's a few differences that you'll be able to see once we're finished. And once again, you know, I'm not a big believer in juicing a lot of tomatoes. I mean, tomatoes have a nice soft texture and they don't have a lot of hard fiber. So, you know, they're really easy to actually eat whole, or, you know, or blend them up actually is what I prefer to do, because as you can see, the pulp out of this juicer and other juicers, it's always going to leave a lot of juice in the pulp. So juicers aren't so efficient at juicing tomatoes. And that being said, the best way to juice the tomatoes or anything would always be rotate the produce you're putting into the machine. So I'd put, like, you know, 1 piece of tomato, I'd put some celery, and then I'd put some carrot, and I'd keep rotating. Today I'm doing straight tomatoes just to show you guys the difference between. So we put 5 tomatoes in each machine, and you know, let's compare the results and see how they're different. I always like to take the machines and you know, shake them a little bit to get all that extra juice out. And now let's go ahead and pull up this container here. And so you can see that in this container, we got basically a good portion of juice, but we also got this foamy aspect or juice separation. Whereas in this container here, we got a nice dark, rich juice. So this is the difference in the juice here. In this machine, we have basically what's called juice separation. You can see a lot of the foam on the top and, you know, the juice in the bottom, and it's not quite as dark. In the Omega Vert 350 HD, the juice is totally congealed and it's stayed together. Okay, so our collection container is getting full here. This container holds 4 cups. There's no catch container included with the Big Mouth juicer. With the Omega Vert 350 HD, you get 2 catch cups. So that being said, let's continue to juice in the Big Mouth juicer. We're gonna juice 1 whole huge cucumber right in the machine. No cutting, no preparation necessary. As fast as we can push it in, as fast as all the juice comes out. Once again, 1 whole apple right in the machine. Here's 4 stalks of celery. Real simple, real easy. Put them right in the machine. No problem, the motor does not even bog down. Here's the most amazing thing. I love to juice romaine lettuce hearts. So this is the romaine heart. 1 whole romaine heart right into the Omega Big Mouth juicer. Get all the benefits of lettuce without eating it. You're gonna get all the nutrition except without the fiber. So we just finished juicing the lettuce in there, and there it is, our juice mix. And then we're gonna add this to the pitcher where we emptied out the other juice before. And there we go. I mean, now we have literally, that's 50 ounces of juice just from what we juiced right there in the Omega Big Mouth juicer. Now let's go ahead and juice the rest of the produce in the Omega VRT 350 HD juicer. We're gonna turn this on, and you know what? Let's see, we can take a whole stalk of celery, put it in, and look at that. It's literally self-feeding. Now, once again, the cucumber, it's not gonna fit in, so we're gonna have to take a knife, or we're gonna have to cut this in half. And maybe even into quarters so it'll fit into the machine. So once again, it's gonna take you a little bit longer to juice in the Omega Vert 350 HD juicer. You know, it is self-feeding, but you know what? You're gonna be rewarded with a higher quality juice. So do you have more time, or do you want a higher quality juice? The choice is up to you. With Omega juicers, you could have either. And you know what? I want to stop right there and say both these machines have a long 10-year warranty. And that's a really important point to consider when buying a juicer. You know, would you buy a car that had a 10-year warranty? Well, a lot of cars actually do have 10-year warranties, but there's other cars that have much shorter warranties. So with a long warranty, you don't have to pay any extra money for an extended warranty. So I like that a lot. Plus, you're guaranteed that your juicer or your investment, and it's an investment in the most important thing you have, an investment in your health. How much is your health worth to you? So with a long warranty, you're guaranteed that your juicer is going to be running so that you can better your health. So here's 1 large carrot. It would have easily went into the Big Mouth. Not so with the Vert. We're going to have to once again cut this carrot down long ways lengthwise. And this is 1 thick woody carrot, let me tell you. Cut that. We'll just drop that in. Once again, the Vert is pretty much self-feeding. Now sometimes if you feed things too fast into the Vert, it'll just stop, and that is completely normal. What you're going to want to do is go to the switch, and you're going to just momentarily hit the reverse button. It'll actually kick it back up for you. Then you're going to turn it the other direction. We're going to go ahead and push in whatever was clogged. Push it right through the machine. We can hear the machine work. Then we're going to take the rest of the carrot and just drop it in there and let it work. No problem whatsoever. So yeah, if you are jamming your Vert up, that means you're feeding things or putting things in too quickly. You need to let the machine have a chance to catch up. All right, so you can see we filled our carafe. So let's go ahead and pour this out into this carafe. put that to the side. All right, so let's continue to juice. We just poured the carafe out and make some more juice. Once again, we're gonna juice the romaine. We can't just put the whole romaine in, but we can just easily take off leaves and put a couple leaves in at a time. I love romaine lettuce juice. It's actually the base of my juices I normally make. So what I encourage people to do is make a juice basically 75% neutral vegetables. So some of those neutral vegetables are, like I was using today, the cucumbers, the celery, the romaine lettuce, and some apple, for example, would be neutral vegetables. Then you would add 25% of the juice in like the dark leafy green vegetables. So that's leafy greens like kale, collard, spinach, chard, dandelion greens, and other things that can be rather strong and harsh to taste, you know, if you're just juicing them straight. So we want to dilute that down a lot. And then I usually add like 1 apple to my juice to you know, make it sweeter. So as you can see, this machine is doing quite well juicing the lettuce. Next, we're going to put a couple pieces of apple in here. And finally, we have the 4 stalks of celery. You could probably put, you know, 1 stalk at a time. For best results, though, in the Omega Vert juicer, what you want to do on celery and other long, stringy vegetables, such as these greens here that have a nice stalk, they have strings in the stalk, you want to actually just break it up. And you want to just break the celery up into little pieces, because if you do, if these strings do go into the juicer, what happens is these long strings may actually clog up the ejection port if you put too many in at one time. So you want to just simply, you know, break up the pieces into small, you know, maybe 1 or 2 inch pieces, and then put them in the machine for best results. All right, here's the last piece. Now we'll be finally done juicing our V6 juice. And here's the last piece going right into the machine. I do like on the Omega Vert 350 HD juicer, there's basically an outlet, a pulp outlet flap. And what the job of that flap to do is to keep the produce in the machine, to let the machine wring out all the juice out of that produce. And it does a fairly good job in doing that, getting, you know, a high level of extraction out. So that's pretty much it. Let's go ahead and turn off the machine. I'm going to go ahead and pour the rest out and pour this into our carafe here. And you can see our other carafe over here, and we can kind of compare the volume, and looks like both juicers made approximately 50 ounces of juice. That being said, this juice here has, you know, pretty much very little foam, and you can see there's a nice head on this juice. So a head might be good for people drinking beer, but it's not good for drinking juice. But you know, once again, but this one also was faster. So every juicer has its pros and cons. You know, I'm here to show you all the different style juicers, and you can figure out what juicer is going to be best for you. Once again, my name is John Kohler from DiscountJuicers.com. Be sure to visit DiscountJuicers.com/YouTube for special promotional offers for our YouTube visitors.